March 1st, 2022, on the 1700 block of Barber Street around 7:24 p.m. I'm going to provide an update about the status of the administrative investigation, but I need to make it very, very clear that I am unable to answer any questions as to the specifics of the evidence outside of what I will divulge now. Also, as I go over the details of the incident, I will continue to refer to the officers by number, Officers 1, Number 2, Number 3, and Number 4. As we announced on Friday evening, the PPD Criminal Intelligence Unit detected threats against the officers present during the incident. Per policy, due to public safety concerns involving the officers and their families, the names of the discharging officers will not be released until a full investigation into these threats is completed. That investigation is ongoing. So again, we will not be releasing the names of the discharging officers today. The latest information that I can provide is as follows. On Tuesday, March 1st, 2022, at approximately 7:24 p.m., Officers 1, Number 2, Number 3, and Number 4, all assigned to the South Task Force, working a plainclothes assignment, were operating an unmarked vehicle in the area of 18th and Johnston Streets in reference to an ongoing VUFA investigation, VUFA, violation of the Uniform Firearms Act. While in the area, the officers observed two males standing on the northeast corner of 18th and Barber Streets. Officers observed that one of the males was wanted for questioning in reference to the VUFA investigation. The officers drove toward the males and stopped a few feet north of Barber Street on 18th Street. Officer Number 2, who was the driver, activated the red and blue emergency lights to the unmarked vehicle. We have received additional evidence that corroborates that the officers did, in fact, activate their emergency lights prior to being fired upon. After activating their lights, the officers heard gunfire and glass shattering from the rear passenger window of their vehicle. Officer Number 3, who was positioned as the right rear passenger, was struck by shards of glass in his face and his eyes. Officer Number 2 and Officer Number 1 in the left rear passenger seat exited the vehicle and discharged their firearms one time each at Thomas Siderio, who we all know was a 12-year-old white male. He was still in possession of the firearm as he fled on foot east on the north sidewalk of the 1700 block of Barber Street. The evidence collected thus far indicates that it was Thomas Siderio who discharged the firearm into the police vehicle. Subsequently, Officer Number 2 maintained cover as Officer Number 1 continued to pursue Siderio on foot eastbound on Barber Street and discharged two additional times, striking Siderio in the upper right back one time, with the bullet exiting from the left chest area. He was transported by police to Presbyterian Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased at 7:29 p.m. Based where the investigation stands today, and with the preliminary evidence we have collected, we are certain that it was Officer Number 1 who fired the shot that struck and killed Thomas Siderio. Officer Number 3 received treatment at Presbyterian Hospital and was released. I want to note that the projectile that struck the unmarked police vehicle had a perforating hole through the rear passenger window's glass. This projectile struck the inner door frame, then perforated the front passenger's headrest, and then it came to rest in the headliner of the vehicle. Siderio's gun was a Taurus 9mm semi-automatic handgun equipped with a laser sight, and it was recovered from the scene. The gun was in stolen status, and the gun was loaded with 1 round in the chamber and 5 rounds in the magazine. The male that was wanted for questioning in reference to the ongoing VUFA investigation, a 17-year-old white male, was stopped by police for investigation and then released pending further investigation. No other injuries to police or civilians are reported at this time. As we do on all of our officer-involved shootings, our officer-involved shooting unit immediately began a thorough investigation. At that time, I personally assured the public that a fair and thorough investigation would take place by our department, and I also gave assurance that I would provide updates in a transparent and expeditious manner, but only when we could do so in a way that would not compromise the integrity of our investigation. That's what we're doing here today. With that in mind, in addition to what I already stated today, I have made the decision to utilize Commissioner's direct action to suspend Officer Number 1 with the intent to dismiss the officer at the end of 30 days due to violations of our use of force directive, Per the collective bargaining agreement between the city and the FOP, the soonest I can serve this action will be 72 hours after communicating my intent to the FOP. So therefore, the soonest the 30 days can begin is this Friday afternoon. Our department will continue the administrative aspect of this investigation, just as the District Attorney's Office will continue its active, ongoing criminal investigation. I recognize that the information that I've given today will raise additional questions, but allow me, please, to be crystal clear. Our duty is to protect the integrity of this investigation, an investigation that is concurrently being investigated by the District Attorney's Office, along with the Philadelphia Police Department, who's conducting the administrative investigation. We must also provide for the safety of the communities we serve, as well as the safety of our officers and their families. Announcing the suspension of Officer Number 1 for 30 days with the intent to dismiss does not relieve me or this department from those duties. Again, I cannot give any further details beyond what I've just divulged.